A missile fired in Tehran just hit a factory in Michigan. Not literally, but for the Ford F-150, the result is exactly the same. The Dearborn truck plant is quiet today, and the line that built 1,400 F-150s every single day has stopped. No aluminum coming in, no dashboards being assembled, no trucks going out. Ford stock is sitting at $12.11, down from $14.08 just 3 weeks ago. And that's $1.5 billion in market value erased, and Wall Street isn't done selling. Oil is at $101 a barrel, and if you drive an F-150 with the 5.0 V8, your last fill-up probably cost you $150 or more. And that number is not coming down. Not while the Strait of Hormuz stays closed. But here's what the news is missing. The gas price is the surface problem. And underneath it, Ford is facing something far worse. A material collapse that started months before the first American missile ever left the runway. There are two crises happening at once, both pointed directly at your truck, and there's one more thing sitting in your driveway right now that your dealer cannot fix, because the parts are trapped behind a military blockade. Your truck, your money, here's the truth. The aluminum trap. In 2015, Ford made the most aggressive bet in American automotive history. They ripped the steel out of the F-150 and replaced it with aerospace-grade aluminum alloy, making it 700 pounds lighter with better towing, better fuel economy, and an engineering ambition. The industry called insane. It worked, and sales went up, competitors scrambled to catch up, and Ford locked in the aluminum-bodied F-150 as the template for every truck that followed. The military-grade aluminum tagline went into every ad campaign for the next decade. What Ford never advertised was that the aluminum body made them completely dependent on a single supply chain, and that dependency came back to destroy them. In September 2025, the Novelis plant in Oswego, New York caught fire. Novelis being Ford's primary supplier of 6000 series aluminum, the exact aerospace-grade alloy the F-150 body requires, and the damage was catastrophic, a $2 billion hit that took the plant completely offline. Ford's engineers immediately pivoted east to Bahrain's Alba smelter and the UAE's Emirates Global Aluminium, world-scale facilities producing the right spec, and while the shipping routes were longer and transit times slower, the supply held and the trucks kept getting built. That was Plan B. And then, Plan B got blockaded. On February 28th, Operation Epic Fury launched with U.S. and Israeli airstrikes hitting Iran. The supreme leader was killed, and within 24 hours Iran mined the Strait of Hormuz, the 21-mile channel that every ship from the Persian Gulf must pass through to reach the open ocean, with Bahrain on the other side of it, the UAE on the other side of it, and Ford's entire aluminum supply on the other side of it. It has been 13 days, and the ships are still waiting. Which matters because Ford runs on just-in-time manufacturing. There is no giant warehouse of spare aluminum sitting in Dearborn. Material arrives days before it's needed. And under normal operations, Ford carries only 18 to 22 days of reserve, a threshold that has already passed. Ford tried calling Canada and Norway, but so did every other car company on the planet the moment Hormuz closed, and the alternative suppliers are now sold out through Q3. While the spot price for aerospace-grade aluminum has tripled in 2 weeks, there is no quick fix. The military-grade aluminum body that made the F-150 famous is the exact reason it cannot be built right now. The engineering triumph became the supply chain trap. But aluminum is only half the story, and it's the half getting all the headlines. The other half is something Ford has never once put in a press release, and it is hiding inside every single F-150 ever made. The polymer secret. You think this war only affects your gas prices, and that's exactly the story being told. But if you understood what's actually happening to the raw materials inside your truck, you'd be far more worried about resale value than what you're paying at the pump. Every F-150 contains 200 kilograms of plastic and polymer components. That's 440 pounds, nearly a quarter of the truck's total weight, and none of it is cosmetic. Your dashboard is polypropylene, your door panel inserts are ABS plastic, the foam in your seat is polyurethane made from petrochemicals, your wiring insulation is PVC, and the 47 rubber seals in your cab that keep water and road noise out are all synthetic polymer. None of it is optional, and every piece must be present and certified before a vehicle can legally be sold. Here's the chemistry nobody in the mainstream press is explaining. These plastics are not made from the oil you pump at a gas station, but from the lighter fractions that travel alongside crude oil, naphtha, ethylene, propylene, liquefied petroleum gas, which are cracked in industrial furnaces. To produce polyethylene and polypropylene, the building blocks of almost every plastic on Earth. The Gulf doesn't just export oil. Saudi Arabia's SABIC is one of the 5 largest chemical companies on the planet. Qatar produces massive volumes of natural gas liquids that are feedstock for plastics. And the Wu's Borouge joint venture supplies polyolefins at world scale. These are not background players. They are the plastic industry. Since March 1st, the spot price of polypropylene, the resin in your dashboard, is up 340%. Polyurethane foam used in every seat Ford builds is now on strict allocation. And suppliers aren't just delaying orders anymore, some have stopped responding entirely. Ford cannot legally sell a vehicle without a completed dashboard assembly, cannot sell it without door panels, and cannot sell it without those 47 seals. Every component must be present and certified before a vehicle can be invoiced to a dealer. And the spec is the spec with no waiver available. Ford's own internal supply chain communications make it clear that the polymer shortfall will outlast the aluminum shortfall. Aluminum has some alternative sources that are expensive and slow, but they exist, while polymer feedstocks from the Gulf have almost no viable substitutes at this scale. And on this timeline, the aluminum crisis stopped production, and the polymer crisis will keep it stopped. But the trucks that do already exist, the 28,000 sitting on dealer lots right now, have a different problem entirely, because they were built fine. They just can't be sold. The 50th anniversary disaster. Ford had big plans for 2026. The F-150 has been America's best-selling vehicle, not just best truck, but best vehicle of any kind, for 44 consecutive years. And 2026 was supposed to be the 50th anniversary of that streak, with new trim levels, a heritage edition, and a 9-figure ad campaign, all ready to go. The trucks were built and the ads were shot. But 28,000 brand new F-150s are now sitting on dealer lots across the country unsold, what the automotive industry calls lot rot. Inventory that exists but cannot move because the market conditions that would sell it have completely collapsed. The math is brutal. A top trim F-150 Lariat or Platinum with the 3.5 EcoBoost gets 18 miles per gallon combined. And at $5 per gallon, where prices are heading in major metros right now, that's 28 cents per mile in fuel alone, meaning a normal American driving 15,000 miles a year is looking at $4,200 annually just to run the truck, while a contractor running 50,000 miles a year is spending $14,000 per truck per year. That's not a fuel budget, that's a salary line. Fleet buyers are the invisible backbone of F-150 sales at roughly 35% of total volume. Contractors, county governments, oil field services companies, construction firms, and these buyers don't purchase on emotion but run spreadsheets. And right now the spreadsheet says stop with fleet. Orders down 61% year over year in March. Ford is now doing things it has never had to do before. 0% APR for 60 months, $6,500 cash rebates, dealer incentive stacking, effectively paying people to take trucks, and the lots are still full because no financing deal fixes a $400 a month fuel bill and you can make the loan. Payment zero without the operating cost moving a single dollar. Wall Street did that math in real time, and Ford shares closed today at $12.11, down from $14.08 3 weeks ago. A 14% decline, erasing roughly $1.5 billion in market cap, with Bank of America downgrading Ford to underperform, and Barclays writing that Ford is uniquely exposed to a petrochemical supply disruption, meaning compared to every other automaker, Ford got hit the hardest. The Heritage Edition is sitting in the same unsold lot as everything else. The $40 million ad campaign is on a hard drive in Dearborn, and the 50th anniversary celebration is officially awake. And then there is the thing Ford announced 8 days before the war even started. The thing that takes all of this and makes it personal. 4.4 million trucks, 1 recall, 0 parts. The owner's reality. On February 20th, 2026, 8 days before the war, Ford issued a safety recall covering 4.4 million vehicles, including almost every F-150 built between 2021 and 2026, for trailer brake control module failure, a system that controls your brakes when you're towing, and when it fails, stopping distance increases, which is not a warning light problem, but a people get hurt problem. Ford sent letters and dealers set up recall appointment lines. But then the war started. Hormuz closed, and the replacement modules, components with polymer-encased electronics made from Gulf petrochemical resins, became completely unobtainable. Your dealer is not stalling. They genuinely do not have the parts. They do not know when they are getting the parts, and until they do, your truck carries an open safety recall that cannot be closed. What that does to your resale value is significant, because dealers won't accept trade-ins on vehicles with open safety recalls in most states. Private buyers who check Carfax will see the flag and demand discounts or walk, and a truck worth $55,000 on the used market in January is now facing a $6,000 to $9,000 haircut just to sell, and that's before you add the fuel cost stigma, the supply chain uncertainty, and the market's broader perception that Ford is in crisis. Your truck has not changed, the world around it has, and when you look at the whole picture at once, Ford cannot build new F-150s because there's no aluminum and no polymer feedstock. Ford cannot sell the trucks already built because $5 gas has killed demand. And Ford cannot fix the trucks already in your driveway because the recall parts are blockaded. Built Ford tough. Can't be built. Can't be sold. Can't be fixed. This did not happen because Ford made stupid decisions. They made the same decisions every automaker makes. Sourcing materials globally, minimizing inventory, and running lean. And for 40 years that model worked because the world stayed open, shipping lanes stayed clear, and geopolitics stayed manageable. One 21-mile wide strait changed all of it. And there is now a question Ford has to answer, and that every truck buyer needs to answer before signing anything. Because Ford scaled back the electric F-150 Lightning in 2025 when it was losing $60,000 per unit. And that was financially rational, since the Lightning had real problems and the decision made sense in a stable world. A Lightning does not care about the Strait of Hormuz, does not need Gulf naphtha to move, and does not cost $150 to fill up. And the contractors who have stopped ordering F-150s because of fuel costs would have a completely different calculation with an electric truck in 2026, while Ford's competitors who held the line on electrification are simply not facing this specific demand collapse. Ford cut the Lightning and the world changed 90 days later, and that is the strategic decision history will record. Not the supply chain disruption, not the recall, not the aluminum, but the decision to bet everything on combustion right before the world's most critical shipping lane closed. Ford has survived 2 world wars, the Great Depression, the 2008 financial collapse, and a pandemic, and they will likely survive this too. But the F-150 that comes out the other side will not look the same, as the supply chain gets rebuilt with less Gulf exposure. The electrification strategy gets revisited with urgency, and the military-grade aluminum marketing gets quietly shelved. Something had to break for this industry to change, and it broke. Is a truck really tough if it can be stopped by a shipping lane 7,000 miles away? The economic missile has a very long range, and right now, it's sitting in your driveway.